Formula One returns to the circuit of the Americas, and the atmosphere couldn't be more electric. The Austin Grand Prix has always carried a reputation for unpredictability, an uphill dash into Turn 1, a 3.4-mile roller coaster of elevation changes, and a crowd that thrives on drama. But this year, the stakes are beyond anything we've seen in recent memory. McLaren's dynamic duo, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, are no longer teammates in harmony. They've become rivals separated by 22 points, scarred by a controversial collision in Singapore that fractured the unity that once defined McLaren's comeback story. Now, as Formula One heads into the brutal Texas heat, both drivers face a showdown that could reshape not just their season, but the entire championship narrative. Behind them lurks Max Verstappen, the reigning four-time world champion, quietly biding his time. While McLaren's two young lions claw at each other, Verstappen and Red Bull are closing in, with 199 points still on the table and 3 sprint weekends remaining. Red Bull's recent upgrades have restored much of the RB21 stability, and Verstappen's calm precision means he doesn't need chaos to win, but he certainly knows how to exploit it when it arrives. The United States Grand Prix isn't just another stop on the calendar. It's a pressure cooker where politics, psychology, and pure performance collide. And with the sprint weekend format returning to Austin, chaos feels inevitable. Teams will get just 1 hour of practice before heading straight into qualifying, leaving no margin for error. One wrong setup decision or misjudged tire call could ruin an entire weekend. Add 33 degrees Celsius ambient heat and a rough, abrasive track surface, and the circuit of the Americas will punish even the smallest mistake. This is a circuit that exposes weaknesses, both mechanical and mental. For McLaren, those weaknesses are now painfully public. The papaya rules that once ensured both drivers respected team harmony were quietly scrapped after their clash in Singapore. Now, they're free to race, at least in theory. But in practice, that freedom is a ticking time bomb. With Piastri leading by 22 points and Norris desperate to prove his dominance, every overtake feels personal. Every radio message carries tension, and every decision from the pit wall could tilt the balance between glory and disaster. Behind the scenes, Mark Webber, Piastri's mentor and former F1 star, is said to be pushing McLaren hard for clarity over team hierarchy. Insiders report that Webber has used rumored Ferrari interest as leverage to ensure McLaren treats Piastri fairly, fearing favoritism toward Norris, who remains deeply connected to McLaren's British roots and fanbase. Webber's past experiences at Red Bull, where he often felt overshadowed by Sebastian Vettel, have made him wary of similar dynamics re-emerging. It's a storyline that adds layers to an already volatile situation, and one that could define how McLaren handles its future stars. The sprint format only intensifies this internal war. Between Friday's qualifying, Saturday's sprint shootout, the sprint race itself, and Sunday's Grand Prix, Piastri and Norris will go head-to-head 4 times in just 48 hours. That's 4 opportunities for either driver to assert dominance, or for McLaren's entire championship campaign to implode. A single collision could trigger massive consequences, especially with Verstappen waiting just behind, ready to pounce. For Red Bull, the path back into the title fight is clear: let McLaren destroy itself. Verstappen, currently 63 points behind, doesn't need to win every race. He just needs McLaren's rivalry to produce the kind of self-inflicted wounds that turn tight battles into open doors. His experience under pressure, especially during the 2021 duel with Hamilton, gives him an edge no statistic can measure. Verstappen thrives when others crumble. He's the quiet predator of Formula One, patient, strategic, and ruthless when opportunity arises. Meanwhile, the heat in Austin is set to become a race-defining factor. With track temperatures exceeding 50 degrees Celsius, tire degradation will be savage. The surface at COTA is notoriously rough, and under these conditions, even the hardest compounds will melt quickly. Teams will face a brutal strategic dilemma: play it safe with a 2-stop strategy or risk everything on a 1-stop gamble that could disintegrate late in the race. The undercut could be powerful, but mistime it, and you're done. This is a race where strategy will matter as much as speed, and one tiny miscalculation could cost everything. Then there's Turn 1, one of the most iconic corners in modern Formula One. The uphill approach, blind apex, and wide entry line tempt drivers into three-wide battles. But there's only room for two on the exit. Time and again, it's been the scene of chaos. If Piastri and Norris find themselves side by side there, sparks could fly, literally and figuratively. McLaren's decision to allow free racing might thrill fans, but it's a massive gamble with millions of championship points hanging in the balance. For team principal Andrea Stella and CEO Zach Brown, the situation is a leadership nightmare. Stella has publicly maintained that both drivers have equal opportunity, but as tensions rise, equal treatment becomes harder to enforce. Brown knows what's at stake. A single on-track incident between his two drivers could hand Verstappen the lifeline he needs to reignite his championship bid. McLaren's best-case scenario is simple: clean racing, double podiums, and both drivers finishing strong. But Formula One rarely delivers clean outcomes when emotions run this high. Piastri enters Austin with a point to prove. He's shown remarkable maturity throughout the season, but now, with the championship lead on the line, he must balance aggression with caution. One mistake could undo months of progress, yet racing too conservatively could allow Norris to close the gap. Norris, on the other hand, faces an entirely different kind of pressure: the weight of expectation. For years, he's been McLaren's golden boy, the driver around whom the team rebuilt its identity. But now, as Piastri rises, Norris must prove he's still the future of the team. Every qualifying session, every overtake, every comment from the media adds to the scrutiny. It's a psychological war as much as a sporting one. The sprint race will be the first true test of nerve. 19 laps of pure intensity, short, relentless, and loaded with consequences. A clean win for Norris could reignite his title hopes and shift the mental momentum. A dominant showing from Piastri could widen the gap beyond repair. And if contact occurs between them, the aftermath could rip McLaren apart from the inside. Amidst this internal storm, Verstappen remains the calm in the chaos. Red Bull's upgrades have brought back consistency and race pace, and Verstappen's unmatched ability to read tire behavior and manage stints gives him an advantage that neither McLaren driver has fully mastered. He doesn't need them to fail spectacularly, just to falter enough for him to capitalize. And history shows he knows exactly when to strike. The Texas heat will also test reliability across the grid. Engines will run hotter, brakes will suffer, and cooling systems will be stretched to their limits. Any team that miscalculates cooling setup could find themselves in trouble. Even a small mechanical issue could have massive implications in the championship. And then there's strategy. With a sprint format compressing the weekend, teams will have almost no time to perfect setup data. That means tire wear, fuel loads, and brake performance will rely heavily on simulation guesses that can go very wrong under Texas sun. One bad setup could end a driver's weekend before it even begins. For McLaren, managing two title-contending drivers has become a high-wire act with no safety net. Their constructors' title is already secure, but the drivers' championship remains in flux. Do they risk letting both drivers race freely, hoping mutual respect holds? Or do they impose team orders to protect the championship lead, knowing the backlash could shatter trust completely? This is the dilemma facing Stella and Brown heading into Austin. Piastri's calm, analytical style has earned him respect, but it can sometimes be mistaken for passivity. Norris's natural aggression, meanwhile, can be thrilling but costly, as seen in Singapore. If they collide again, the fallout could stretch beyond this season. Sponsors, fan perception, and team morale all hang in the balance. For Verstappen, it's a familiar story, the hunter waiting for the hunted to make a mistake. He's been here before, and his calm execution under pressure remains unmatched. While McLaren wrestles with internal chaos, Verstappen's focus never wavers. He's ready to seize the moment if opportunity strikes. As Formula One prepares for the US Grand Prix, the equation is brutally simple. McLaren holds control of the championship, but only if it can control itself. In Austin, speed won't be enough. Survival will decide the victor. Because in Formula One, domination isn't just about being the fastest. It's about managing the storm, and right now, McLaren is standing at the center of one. The question is, who will emerge unscathed? Will McLaren's no-team orders philosophy explode under pressure, or will Verstappen use their internal chaos to mount one of the greatest comebacks in modern F1 history? As the Texas sun blazes and tensions rise, this weekend could define not only the 2025 season, but the future of McLaren itself. The heat is on, the stakes are sky-high, and the Circuit of the Americas is about to witness a battle where every lap could change everything.